Hey ballers, Coach Coop here. Today I want to talk about shot mechanics in this session. As such, and regardless of where we are, it is this skill that we need to engage a strong and consistent foundation that is then supported by multiple repetitions so that our shot mechanics simply become habit when in gameplay and when shot accuracy counts the most. Every player can develop their shot mechanics for better efficiency, whether it be to extend the distance of their shot, the quickness of their shot, or the accuracy of their shot. This is where we want to focus our greatest attention, on the fundamental development of our youth and their shot mechanics right from the jump. I'm going to discuss the mechanics I've come to emphasize in shooting and basketball, with a focus on the transition of power from the feet to the fingertips, to ensure our shots are consistent and accurate.
It's good. He definitely gets the silky smooth award.
There are many shot mechanic elements that we must focus on. However, there are 4 that I really want to concentrate on. Those being the feet, the knees, the hips, and the head. What shooters must understand is that our shots are not wholly dependent on our arm and hand movements, but rather are founded in these 4 set-up body actions and transitioning power through our shots. As such, let's go over the feet element to begin our shot mechanics setup. Element number 1, feet, foot placement. There are 3 options for foot placement. However, each of them must start with the feet being at least shoulder width apart to establish a solid and stable foundation. This is where it all begins, and the shooter must be balanced on the balls of their feet, activated in a triple threat position with the ball low and protected so that they are ready to jab step to create space, to drive, to pass, or in this instance, to shoot. And a show and go from a triple threat position will provide the opportunity for a better shot selection ultimately, as creating time and space is what every shooter needs to be successful. The dominant staggered stance. This is the stance we want to focus on, as we want to load the shot side of the body. The shot mechanics will always have the movement of the body on the dominant side. So this is the preferable stance. The second stance is called the neutral parallel stance. U11 and younger shooters are regularly taught to square up their feet due to lack of strength to generate power into a one-handed shot. Thus, a parallel stance is more comfortable for two-handed shots, simply as a response to that lack of power. I don't recommend this for a few reasons. A dominant stagger stance should be taught early to load the shot side. And with the benefit of 8-foot-high rims, a closer free throw line, and a smaller ball, the scale and proportion of these elements for youth development truly support learning proper mechanics early and from the outset of developing shooters. The third stance is called a cross-dominant stagger stance. This is atypical and should not be used due to the misalignment of force of dynamics of the shot. Finally, many players will rotate their stance depending on their comfort level and how they move through their shot mechanics. Try and keep the rotation of the feet at no farther than 11 o'clock from the target position or pointed where the key rail and baseline meet is a good benchmark when shooting from the free throw line. From our feet element, we will now move into the knees element of our shot mechanics. Element number 2 is the knees, which is about bringing the ball to the knees in order to load the legs. Shot power comes from leg strength, not arms, and the best way to ensure this is to get in the habit of touching the ball to the dominant side knee, as the shooter cannot do so without compressing their knees and loading the legs. This is referred to as the dip for a shot. If we watch the best shooters, we will see the ball always begins below the waist and at the knee. In fact, the best way to study the shot mechanics of good shooters is when they are at the free throw line, taking shots, as this is where their repetitions and shot adjustments are fully realized. Aligning the ball on the dominant side knee is also important so that we sweep of the ball is on a linear path on the dominant side and not coming across the midsection of the body from the center or the non-dominant side of the body, thus placing torsion on the shot path mechanic. This is particularly important as a motion that comes from the center of the body and then to the dominant side will usually push that shooting elbow away from the body, exacerbating the linear sweep path even more, thus losing power and control in the shot. The motion is to sweep the ball up in a fluid motion and to keep the elbow tucked into the body to ensure a consistent path, so the arm doesn't flare out and create a side spin on the ball or off-camber action on the shot. This is a good drill to form this element, which is to position the shooter on the wall with the outside face of their dominant foot against the base of the wall. Feet in preferred stance, ball to dominant knee. As the shooter sweeps the ball into the shooting motion, they will know right away if their shot force trajectory is correct or not, as their elbow, the link in the mechanic, should not brush against the wall as a part of this motion. An aligned backspin on the ball is critical as well. If a shot hits the rim or backboard, so that it spins down into the target and not out and away, as is the case with side spin. As such, develop a habit of tapping the shooting elbow against the body as the ball is being brought up through the motion, as this will ensure that the ball, hand, arm, and elbow are on the same vertical trajectory up. An easy way to check on the spin of the ball, and as a basic initial assessment of the shot path motion, is to simply shoot it up into space so it hits the floor 10 feet in front and see if it spins directly back or not. This is a simple drill to do at home to work on our shot release mechanics. What's critical here, of course, is that the elbow is against the body. We're sweeping the motion in a linear path that's going up. Elbow is following hand and ball up. And the release is on target as well. So this line we're creating is all aligned with the target. That's why it's so critical to transfer that power from our feet up into our knees, our hips, our core, arm to fingertip, all in a linear path, all on the dominant side of our body. We'll now move on to element number 3, the hips. Element number 3 is the hips. This is our flexing our hips forward. I find that this is the most critical part of the shot mechanics motion to ensure that the torso extends up and to get an arc on the ball flight, which is difficult to do if the hips do not flex forward and they move backwards instead. Shots tend to be pushed from the face or the chest. Body movement is forward instead of up. Shots are more easily blocked, and shooters do not have clear vision to the target as their release point is in front of their face versus above the head and protected. By flexing the hips forward, the ball will be released higher, out of reach of the block, and with unobstructed vision of the shooter to the target. The shooting elbow now acts as a guard to the ball, with a greater chance of drawing a foul as the ball is protected and not as accessible to a defender to block.
These next two drills I really like to use to enforce the verticality of our shot mechanics. You can see we're getting up on toes, our hips are really being pushed forward, so we get up, we're reaching, we're trying to hit that line up high, so we're working on accuracy too. This is another one as well. If our shots are a little flat, I'll get players behind the backboard shooting from baseline, trying to get as close to the front face of the board as possible. Here we're just working with partners going back and forth. We'll do 50 shots of these on the high wall. We'll do 50 shots of these over the backboard. Players will then take free throws after doing these drills, and they'll have a brand new nice high arc on their shots. A really effective training device as well that I've been using to help shooters develop their shot mechanics strength is with a Core X system. This is a resistance system that provides the resistance that I like to see in developing those shot mechanic muscles.
Element number 4 is the head. As the sweep of the ball is being brought up, the shooter must point their elbow at the target and hinge the lower arm to provide the adjustment in the accuracy of the shot to the target only. Remember, the legs are providing the shot strength, not the arm. The target the shooter should be concentrating on is the net loop on the back of the rim or on the appropriate shot spot on the backboard for a bank shot. Focusing on the back of the rim is important for a couple of reasons, one of which is that if the shot is too long, the spin of the ball will drop it into the hoop off the rim or backboard, or if the shot is a little short, the ball still has an opportunity to bounce off the rim and in, whereas if the front of the rim is the target, a short shot will not hit the rim at all. As the sweep of the ball passes their head, the shooter must pull their guide hand off the ball through the final shot motion. As a part of this element, I'll have the shooter tap their guide hand on their head to ensure it does not cross the path of the ball movement and has released from the ball cleanly. The follow-through should fully extend the shooting arm, pointing the index and middle finger at the target, reaching into the cookie jar, and hold. In fact, circling back to the start of the shot mechanics with element number 1, the feet, whether the shooter can hold their follow-through with stability is an indicator as to whether they have their core in a balanced and squared-up foundation from the start of the shot or not. If a shooter's core is off balance, they will want to drop their hands down to help in balancing themselves after releasing the ball. This is simply a telltale natural reaction to being off balance. Even in motion off a shot or in a jump shot, a shooter's core can still be balanced and square in the air, thus holding their follow-through and landing in control. Finally, if shooters have a hard time releasing their guide hand from the ball, I'll have them use a shooting strap to force the release of the guide hand in the mechanic, as the strap provides retention on the guide hand from the extending with the shooting hand in motion. S is using a shooting strap here, which is providing retention on her guide hand so it does not follow up with their shooting hand motion. T is using a Core-X trainer in developing shot strength. It's developing shoulder, leg, core, and tricep strength for the shot.
For greater focus on these shot mechanic elements, check out these links here, as well as my playlists for more training tips, basketball plays, and basketball drills for development.